The storm hit the city as the email hit my screen, and both felt personal. Alex Carter said, "No, this can't be real." The subject read termination for cause, the font cold as steel. Our flagship contract, gone in a paragraph that bled. Maya Brooks said, "Alex, breathe, read it again." I read the rumor dressed as fact, the audit dressed as verdict, the deadline dressed as funeral. The screenshot alleged our code scraped data we never touched. Alex Carter said, "Victor Hale planted this." The office buzzers wailed like cicadas, then failed. A Slack ping from Ethan Price arrived, a sugar knife. Ethan Price said, "We'll recover, promise." My gut replied with silence. Investors would run at dawn, and payroll lurked like a cliff. Maya Brooks said, "We have logs, proofs, a trail." I saw the product board, a skyline of impossible tasks. Lightning stitched the window, and I saw myself stitched to the chair. Alex Carter said, "One email ends us or remakes us." The cursor blinked like a metronome for courage. I started drafting a reply, a scalpel made of truth. The storm angled harder, and the night smelled like tin. Morning came without softness, just a gray film over consequences. Alex Carter said, "We start with truth and timestamps." The office smelled of stale coffee and wet wool. Maya Brooks said, "I'll pull server logs and access trails." The email sat like a bruise, radiating doubt into every thread. Our runway was already thin, and the rumor sliced another week away. Alex Carter said, "Victor wins if we panic." I pictured his smirk in a boardroom, feeding fear like coal to a furnace. A voicemail from my mother blinked red, a lighthouse of worry I could not face. Alex Carter said, "We audit everything we touched, even the clean parts." The whiteboard waited for names, dates, endpoints. Maya Brooks said, "If there's sabotage, it left fingerprints." I wanted to believe the code would vouch for me like an old friend. The city honked its indifferent anthem, and the storm residue dried to chalk. Alex Carter said, "One email won't define us. Our reply will." The article went live before breakfast, a headline sharpened for blood. Alex Carter said, "They called us data thieves." I scrolled through comments stacked like stones. Maya Brooks said, "Their source is anonymous and wrong." Screenshots framed our commit history like crime scene photos. Investors pinged question marks without greetings. Alex Carter said, "We respond with receipts, not rage." I drafted a thread detailing every permission, every audit trail, every vendor scope. My chest tightened when I saw Ethan quoted as a former insider. Alex Carter said, "He wanted out, not arson." The city brightened while my brand darkened. I pinned a message to our team channel, a candle in wind. Maya Brooks said, "We can timestamp the access anomaly." Hope sparked, small and blue. Alex Carter said, "Then we aim that spark where it hurts." By noon, the silence from allies became its own verdict. Alex Carter said, "If they want stand up, we will." I called our mentor, and the ring felt like climbing a rope with wet hands. Samuel Ortiz said, "Facts first, narrative second, always." His cadence steadied me like a metronome. We outlined a public note, diagrams ready to carry weight. Alex Carter said, "We disclose our logs and own our misses." Pride fought me, then yielded. Maya Brooks said, "The anomaly hopsips near Victor's cloud vendor." I felt anger arrive, clean and usable. Samuel Ortiz said, "Aim at process, not people, until proof hardens." I typed slower, sharper. The reply became a bridge that would either hold or snap. Alex Carter said, "Publish when the chain is unbroken." Afternoon slid into that restless hour when doubt grows teeth. Alex Carter said, "Send a draft to Laura. Investor replies can bless or burn." Laura Chen said, "If your logs are airtight, I stand with you." The words landed like scaffolding against a crumbling wall. Maya Brooks said, "Check some files attached, chain intact." I pasted hashes into the note and felt the ground steady. Alex Carter said, "We go live at 5. The cursor blinked like a drum roll I finally welcomed. A last ping from Ethan arrived, a sorry shaped like smoke. Alex Carter said, "Truth travels slower, but it travels." I scheduled the post, set the evidence repo to read only, and checked my breath. The storm had left, but the air still crackled with promise and threat. Alex Carter said, "One email started this, our email answers." The first night after the email blurred into fragments of worry. Alex Carter said, "I built this from my kitchen table. I can't let it drown in lies." The ceiling fan clicked like a metronome of regret. A picture of our launch party sat crooked on the shelf, smiling faces now shadows of trust. Maya Brooks said, "Sleep is armor, Alex, we'll need it." But my eyelids only replayed every investor who laughed at my early pitch. Alex Carter said, "They saw a dreamer, not a builder." That sting still burned. My father's voice echoed in memory, saying, "You're chasing illusions when you could have stability." I gripped the blanket like a lifeline. Alex Carter said, "Was I wrong to fight gravity this long?" Silence had no reply, only the hum of machines outside. Maya stirred beside her laptop glow, shoulders squared despite fatigue. Alex Carter said, "If no one believes, I'll carry it alone." But the truth was clear, belief alone could not balance payroll. Morning sunlight hit the loft like judgment, exposing fatigue in every corner. Alex Carter said, "The dream is heavy, but I asked for it." Coffee steamed bitter and black, my throat matching the taste. Maya Brooks said, "You're not alone, Alex. The team still waits for you." I stared at the Slack list of muted names, green dots like ghosts haunting the screen. Alex Carter said, "They trust me, but I can't lead them with doubt in my chest." My phone buzzed with an unread voicemail from my mother again, an anchor I wasn't ready to hold. Samuel Ortiz, our mentor, replied to my late-night text. "Meet me at the cafe. Bring facts, not fear." Alex Carter said, "Facts, not fear. That's the only path left." Maya smiled faintly, pouring her own cup. Her steadiness looked like armor I had forgotten how to wear. The cafe smelled of espresso and ambition, a place where ideas were born and buried. Samuel Ortiz said, "You built value. Don't let them redefine you with rumor." His voice cut steady through clatter. Alex Carter said, "I don't know if I can still carry the weight." Samuel leaned in, gray at his temples, suit jacket softened by years of wear. He said, "Leadership isn't about not breaking. It's about breaking and still returning to the table." Maya Brooks sat across with eyes that urged me to listen. I showed Samuel the logs, the timelines, the sabotaged anomaly. He scanned them with a strategist's eye. Samuel Ortiz said, "This is your spine. Wrap your story around this evidence." Alex Carter said, "What if they still don't believe?" Samuel smirked. "Then you write until they must." Back at the loft, the walls felt less like prison bars and more like canvases waiting for answers. Alex Carter said, "We rebuild by telling the world who we are, not what they say." Maya Brooks typed furiously, mapping data logs into clean visuals. I watched her transform numbers into shields. Alex Carter said, "Every pixel must scream honesty." The hum of the printer spat evidence like confessions. Our silent observer, Liam Hart, adjusted server graphs quietly in the corner, his hoodie drawn, focus like stone. Maya Brooks said, "These charts show no theft, only proof of integrity." Alex Carter said, "Then tomorrow we publish, not defense, declaration." Liam nodded faintly, his silence a vow. Night returned, but with less thunder, more resolve. Alex Carter said, "Fear fades when purpose speaks louder." The draft of our public letter glowed on the screen, words carved from pain and precision. Maya Brooks said, "We'll face their questions head on." I imagined Victor Hale reading it, his smirk thinning to silence. Alex Carter said, "Let him choke on our receipts." Liam Hart, clicked export on the graphs, quiet pride glinting under his glasses. I saved every file twice, printing hard copies as if they were battle flags. My phone vibrated with another message from my mother, proud no matter what. Tears welled, surprising me. Alex Carter said, "They may doubt me, but I won't doubt myself again." The cursor blinked like applause for a choice made. The morning after our draft went live, silence hit harder than backlash. Alex Carter said, "No news is worse than fire. It means doubt festers quietly." Investors had read it, but replies did not come. Maya Brooks said, "They're waiting for Victor's move." Every hour of quiet gnawed like rust on steel. Liam Hart adjusted server dashboards, watching traffic climb but engagement shrink. Alex Carter said, "We showed proof, but maybe proof isn't enough in a world hungry for spectacle." My stomach twisted as headlines shifted to rumors of our collapse. A blog reported that we had laid off staff, lies written as fact. Maya Brooks said, "We can't chase every rumor, Alex. We must stand taller." But the silence was heavy, my father's doubt echoing louder. Alex Carter said, "If we can't fill this silence with truth, Victor will flood it with poison." By noon, the first call came from Laura Chen, our investor. Laura Chen said, "The numbers don't matter if the narrative isn't in your favor." Her tone was steel over silk. Alex Carter said, "So you doubt me too?" Laura paused, then said, "I doubt perception, not proof. Markets run on trust, Alex." The words cut deeper than lies. Maya Brooks mouthed steady across the room, her eyes urging restraint. I gripped the phone tighter. Alex Carter said, "If truth is weaker than perception, why build anything?" Laura Chen sighed, "Because those who last bend perception back toward truth, eventually." The call ended with no promise of rescue, just the weight of doubt still pressing. The afternoon brought another blow. An anonymous email leaked screenshots of internal chats, edited, doctored, twisted to suggest we mocked user privacy. Alex Carter said, "This is poison crafted by Victor." Maya Brooks said, "It's Ethan's tone but warped." Liam Hart confirmed metadata anomalies, but the screenshots had already spread. My phone buzzed with a journalist's request for comment, tone sharp with suspicion. Alex Carter said, "If I defend every lie, I'll look guilty. If I stay silent, it'll look weak." Rage burned but clarity flickered. We had to escalate. Maya Brooks said, "Expose the sabotage with hard forensics." Alex Carter said, "Then we weaponize truth as blade, not shield." At dusk, Samuel Ortiz called us back to the cafe, his voice urgent. Samuel Ortiz said, "Your silence is letting Victor write your story. You must strike." He tapped the table with finality. Alex Carter said, "If I strike too soon, they'll say I lash out." Samuel Ortiz leaned in, "Strike with evidence, not anger. Publish forensic proof, and name the sabotage without naming the saboteur." My hands trembled over the keyboard, the draft glowing like a blade unsheathed. Maya Brooks said, "If we post tonight, we control tomorrow." Alex Carter said, "Control or gamble?" Samuel Ortiz said, "Same thing in crisis." Night fell, and the post went live. Forensic graphs, code logs, timestamped screenshots. Alex Carter said, "Let them choke on proof." Within minutes, reactions split. Defenders hailed integrity, critics cried desperation. My pulse raced with each notification. Maya Brooks said, "Look at the support, Alex. People see through the smear." Yet trolls doubled down, and Victor's allies whispered louder. My phone rang again, my father this time. He said, "Maybe now you learn stability matters more than dreams." His words stabbed deeper than any tweet. Alex Carter said, "I won't quit, even if I stand alone." The city skyline blinked indifferent, but inside the loft, our resolve glowed brighter than neon. The morning headline carried a knife sharper than any rumor, leaked documents with my signature approving a deal I never made. Alex Carter said, "That's forged." The shock hollowed my chest. Maya Brooks said, Victor wants you branded corrupt. Liam Hart zoomed into metadata, pointing at timestamps that screamed tampering. My hands shook as if the paper itself burned. Alex Carter said, "They won't check metadata, they'll see a signature and hang me." Maya Brooks said, "Then we must prove sabotage publicly." The betrayal tasted bitterer than coffee. I remembered the night Ethan Price left our office. Handshake warm, eyes too calm. Alex Carter said he didn't just leave, he planted this. At noon, the team's Slack erupted with links to the leak. Silence gave way to panic. Alex Carter said, "We can't implode from inside." Maya Brooks said, "Then show them truth." I drafted a message, hands stiff. Alex Carter said, "We were sabotaged. This is not who we are." Reactions dripped in. Some believed, some doubted. Samuel Ortiz called, "You must frame Ethan's betrayal with outrage. Make it undeniable, not personal." My throat ached with the weight of restraint. Alex Carter said, "He was family. He betrayed that bond." My voice cracked on the word family. By afternoon, confirmation came. Ethan Price had been feeding Victor Hale data for weeks. A whistleblower DM spilled the truth. Alex Carter said, "So it was him all along." Maya Brooks said, "We trusted him like blood." Liam Hart muttered, "He cloned repos before leaving." Rage and grief braided inside me. Alex Carter said, "He didn't just betray a company, he betrayed belief." I slammed my fist onto the desk. Samuel Ortiz texted, "Don't waste fury, build a case." My pulse raced, head pounding like drums of war. Alex Carter said, "The floor just disappeared, but I'm still standing." At dusk I sat alone, staring at Ethan's old desk. Alex Carter said, "Every plan we drew together now feels poisoned." Memories of late nights and shared jokes twisted into blades. Maya Brooks said, "We move forward or die here." Her eyes brimmed with rage disguised as resolve. Alex Carter said he wanted quick glory. We wanted legacy. Silence pressed like concrete until Samuel Ortiz entered the call. "Alex, betrayal is story fuel if you use it right. Don't mourn the knife, forge it into armor." I nodded, though grief still clung like smoke. Night deepened, but clarity cut through the dark. Alex Carter said, "Ethan's betrayal is our twist, not our ending." Maya Brooks said, "Then we rewrite the narrative." Liam Hart uploaded forensic proof tying leaks to Ethan's account. I stared at the graphs. Every line a scar turned into evidence. Alex Carter said, "Victor thinks betrayal killed us, but it only gave us fire." Samuel Ortiz messaged, "Tomorrow you don't defend, you declare war." My chest steadied. For the first time, the email that tried to end us felt like the spark of something bigger. Alex Carter said, "One traitor won't bury us, he'll light our rise." The morning air carried steel instead of silence. Alex Carter said, "Today we confront him." Maya Brooks said, "Then make every word a blade, not a plea." Investor Laura Chen joined the call, her voice sharp as glass. "This pitch will decide whether I double down or walk away." My pulse hammered with every syllable. Screens glowed with charts, forensic logs, and proof of sabotage. Alex Carter said, "We're not asking for pity, we're showing war wounds that prove survival." Laura Chen said, "Convince me the wound won't kill you." My voice steadied against the quake in my chest. "We have proof, traction, and vision that can't be buried by betrayal." Silence stretched like a wire until Laura said, "Then stand tall and present it publicly." By noon, the boardroom felt like a courtroom. Victor Hale smirked across the table, polished in his tailored navy suit. Alex Carter said, "This company was nearly broken by lies you planted." Victor Hale said, "Business isn't church, Alex, it's survival." His tone dripped arrogance. Maya Brooks whispered, "Stay calm, proof beats rage." I clicked to reveal logs on the projector, timestamps, IP traces, and forged signatures exposed. Alex Carter said, "Here's the trail, and it leads to Ethan under your shadow." Gasps echoed. Victor's smirk faltered, just a twitch, but enough to taste victory. Laura Chen leaned forward, expression unreadable. The confrontation escalated as Victor snapped, "This proves nothing but desperation." His voice cracked at the edges. Alex Carter said, "Desperation doesn't leave metadata trails." I zoomed on the forged signature's digital fingerprint, the anomaly glaring like neon. Laura Chen said, "Victor, explain this." His silence roared louder than denial. The boardroom air thickened with the weight of revelation. Maya Brooks said, "Integrity isn't weakness, it's survival refined." My hand steadied as I clicked to the final slide. Projections of growth if the truth prevailed. Alex Carter said, "We rise not because we avoided betrayal, but because we turned it into armor." Victor rose suddenly, slamming his palm on the table. Victor Hale said, "You think this stunt will save you? Perception already killed you." His rage cracked the mask. Alex Carter said, "Then perception shifts today." My voice steadied like steel. Laura Chen said, "Victor, you've evaded questions and Alex has evidence. That speaks volumes." Maya Brooks placed a hand on my shoulder, a silent anchor. Alex Carter said, "We built this company on resilience. Betrayal tested it. Proof restores it." Victor turned to leave, muttering curses that rang hollow. The door closed, but the battle was far from over. When Victor stormed out, silence filled the room again, but this silence was power, not fear. Laura Chen said, "Alex, I'll fund you, but you must deliver results now, not later." Relief surged like electricity through my veins. Alex Carter said, "Then we rise together, stronger than before." Maya Brooks smiled, exhaustion softening into triumph. Liam Hart messaged from the loft, traffic surging, sentiment shifting. For once the world believed us. Samuel Ortiz called, "You won your reckoning, now earn the victory." I exhaled deeply, feeling the shift inside me. Alex Carter said, "Betrayal nearly ended us, but conviction carried us here." The climax had chosen its victor. The next morning felt lighter, as though the city itself exhaled. Alex Carter said, "We survived the storm, but now comes the rebuilding." Maya Brooks poured coffee, her smile finally free of tension. Liam Hart said quietly, "Traffic is still climbing. People are listening again." My phone lit up with messages of support from users who believed in us. Alex Carter said, "Truth was slow, but it finally caught fire." A deep calm settled over me, though exhaustion still pulled at my shoulders. Samuel Ortiz texted, "Victory is fragile. Treat it with humility." I nodded silently, staring at the glow of our dashboard as it pulsed with renewed life. Later that morning, Laura Chen visited in person for the first time since the chaos began. Laura Chen said, "Investors will ask hard questions, but I believe in this." Her eyes scanned the room with sharp precision. Alex Carter said, "Belief is fuel, but execution must be our fire." Maya Brooks added, "We've rebuilt proof, now we rebuild trust." Laura nodded, arms crossed, but her gaze softened slightly. The meeting wasn't celebration, it was preparation. Alex Carter said, "This company must be more than survival. It must be resilience embodied." My words felt heavier but steadier than ever before. By afternoon, we pushed out our product update. Quiet, focused, unapologetic. Alex Carter said, "Work is the truest answer to doubt." Notifications pinged as users praised stability, not scandal. Maya Brooks said, "Every bug fixed is another word in our defense." Liam Hart smiled faintly for the first time in weeks, muttering, "Feels like forward again." Alex Carter said, "The story won't end with betrayal. It will be remembered for resilience." My shoulders finally eased, not with triumph, but with steady determination. The world outside bustled, but inside we found rhythm again. That evening my phone buzzed with a message from my father. "I was wrong. I'm proud you stood your ground." Tears blurred the words. Alex Carter said softly, "Sometimes the hardest victory is personal." Maya Brooks looked over and asked, What did he say? I showed her, and for the first time, she saw me not as founder but as son. Silence stretched, but it was warm, not heavy. Alex Carter said, "We didn't just win the company back. We won belief back." The city lights blinked outside, steady as our own pulse. By night's end, the team gathered around the desk. No speeches, no fanfare, just presence. Alex Carter said, "We've been broken, betrayed, tested, but we are still here." Maya Brooks said, "Still standing, still building." Liam Hart added softly, "Still believing." I looked at their faces, tired, scarred, yet shining with a fire stronger than before. Alex Carter said, "This is not an ending. This is the moment we begin again, stronger." Outside, the neon flickered, but inside, our resolve burned steady. The email that almost killed us had become the seed of our rebirth. The dawn after our rebirth painted the skyline in gold, and for once, I felt like I belonged among its towers. Alex Carter said, "We faced the fire and carried the scars, but they are no longer wounds. They're proof of survival." Maya Brooks said, "The world knows our truth, Alex. The worst storm has already passed." I scrolled through messages from users, investors, and strangers who stood with us now. My father texted again, "Proud is too small a word." The words blurred in my vision, not from pain but release. Alex Carter said, "The email that nearly killed us gave us life twice as strong." My chest lifted, not with relief, but with conviction carved into steel. Later that morning, Samuel Ortiz visited in person, his voice softer than ever. Samuel Ortiz said, "You've carried the weight and you've transformed it." He clasped my shoulder firmly. Alex Carter said, "You once said leadership is breaking but returning. Now I understand." Samuel Ortiz smiled, eyes shadowed with his own regrets. Maya Brooks said, "Your guidance lit paths we couldn't see." Samuel replied, "And your courage walked them." For the first time, the room felt not like a battlefield, but a place where wisdom and youth align. Alex Carter said, "The fight built us, but purpose will carry us further." By midday, we faced the press not as victims but as builders. Alex Carter said, "One email tried to end us, but it forged our resolve." Cameras clicked like drum beats. Maya Brooks said, "We have shown that resilience is louder than rumor." Journalists leaned in, eyes hungry for spectacle, but found integrity instead. Alex Carter said, "The narrative is no longer betrayal, it's survival, growth, and legacy." Flashbulbs washed the moment in light, and I didn't flinch. For the first time, I felt not defensive but powerful. The silence that followed was not doubt, it was respect. As dusk fell, we gathered in the loft once more, not as a fractured team but as family. Liam Hart said quietly, "I never thought I'd see us here again." Maya Brooks replied, "We're stronger because we broke and rebuilt." I looked at their faces, each scarred, each steady, each alive with determination. Alex Carter said, "This is not a company anymore. This is a living story, written by every one of us." The neon city outside blinked, as if applauding. The hum of laptops blended with laughter for the first time in months. That night, I stood alone by the window, the skyline alive with possibility. Alex Carter said, "One email almost destroyed us, but it became the catalyst for everything we are now." My reflection in the glass looked older, sharper, but unbroken. I whispered, "We are proof that resilience is louder than ruin." Behind me, the quiet hum of my team echoed like heartbeat. The city stretched infinite ahead, and for the first time I felt infinite too. The story closed not with defeat, nor even with victory, but with transformation. Alex Carter said, "We are unshakable, and this is just the beginning."